Shalom, Israel. I would like to speak to y'all today regarding some upcoming ceremonies that are supposed to be observed according to the Bible. These ceremonies are Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Let me start with the Word. As always, we are to let the Word guide us into what is right. And in Exodus chapter 12, we'll start at verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months, and it shall be the first month of the year to you. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, And the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house. We move down to verse 6. And ye shall keep it unto the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roasted with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it. Eat not of it raw, nor sodden, nor at all with water, but roast with fire his head and his legs, and with the purtenance thereof. And ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. And against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and you shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. That means forever. Thou shalt keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. It says that afterwards. 7 days. Well, now that's going into something else. So, some might say, well, when do we know the Passover is? Well, it is the first moon in the month of Abib. In translation to our English customs, it is the first moon before April Fool's Day. The reason April Fool's Day is called that is because when they instituted the Gregorian calendar and made January 1st the New Year's, those who can continuously use the biblical New Year, the first moon of Abib, were called fools. That's really why it's called April Fool's Day. You can do your research on that and you'll find out. So what's supposed to happen is from 10 days from that moon, you're supposed to go to the market or the butcher or butcher yourself a lamb. Same sense, 4 days later, the 14th day of the month of Abib, or because the new moon fell on the day before April 1st, then it would be, for this year, April 13th, 2014, is when we should be celebrating Passovers. We should be in the house. We should be fully clothed. We should be eating lamb with unleavened bread, cooked with or roasted with bitter herbs. You can't make a soup out of it. You can't. It has to be roasted. Just how the Bible says it, because he tells you you can't make it a soup. So be cautious to follow the rules of God accordingly so that he can give to you the blessings that he promised to your forefathers. Now, while we're here in Exodus, we're going to continue with verses 15 through 20 in chapter 12 of Exodus. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel. And in the first day there shall be a holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you. And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for in this self same day have I brought your enemies out of the armies, out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at evening, ye shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month at evening. 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses, for whosoever eat that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land. Ye shall eat nothing leavened, in all your habitations shall ye eat leavened bread. Now, the Feast of Unleavened Bread is exactly what it is. If you don't know what unleavened means without yeast or rising products. If you add water to flour and you let it sit, it will leaven. That means when you cook, because a lot of people cook their own bread during Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. When you cook that bread, once you mix it with water, it has to be cooked immediately. Soda doesn't have the time to leaven itself. Baking soda is a leavening product. Yeast is a leavening product. You have automatic rising dough. Those are leavening products. You have to have all of those things out of your house. Now, if you say, I don't want to waste my money, you could give it to a neighbor or sell it to a neighbor until Passover or Feast of Unleavened Bread is over and buy it back. You can always do that. You can get rid of it out of your household into strangers. Strangers don't celebrate Passover unleavened bread. And you can request for it back, or you can give it away and buy your own, or you could throw it away and buy your own later. I throw it away. It's trash to me. Matter of fact, come Friday, maybe Friday evening, Saturday, I'm going to go ahead and toss that all in the trash and take the trash out on Friday. Because really I don't like to go out the house on Saturdays or Friday night to Saturday night, because Passover starts Saturday night to Sunday night. And the first day of unleavened bread is Sunday night to Monday night. So, in the first day of unleavened bread, well, it's actually the first day of Passover. I apologize. The first day of Passover. So, in this Passover, you must have a feast. That's a holy convocation. And in the last day of a Feast of Unleavened Bread, they call it the 8th day, which is the last day. Then you must have another feast. And on these 2 days, you cannot work. You can't work on Passover, and you can't work on the last day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. These are Sabbaths, and they must be observed. These things, if you don't observe, you'll be cut off from the blessings that God promised to your fathers. Let's move on to Leviticus. I think this is going to be maybe a 2-part series as I look at the timing that I have on my camera. And we're going to go to, Numbers. I apologize. We're going to go to Numbers, chapter 9, verses 1 through... Numbers chapter 9, verses 1 through 14, if it allows me to. Okay, and the Lord spake unto Moses in the wilderness of Sinai in the first month of the 2nd year. And they were come out of the land of Egypt, saying, let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at his appointed season. So now they were out of Egypt, and they still had to keep the Passover. And the 14th day of this month at evening, ye shall keep it in his appointed season, according to all the rites of it, and according to the ceremonies thereof shall ye keep it.